So Fnatic and Navi aren't going to VCT Masters Madrid, and Karmine Corp won the EMEA Kickoff? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about the craziness of the VCT EMEA Kickoff Tournament. So the EMEA Kickoff Tournament has now concluded, which is kind of funny because it started after the Americas tournament, yet finished before it. While the Americas seems to just be doing weekends, both EMEA and Pacific just had matches during the week, which meant that they got through the tournament much quicker than Americas did. But anyway, we get here to the finals, and when this playoff stage was set with Team Heretics versus Navi and Fnatic versus Karmine Corp, from what I saw from people from both, Plat Chat and just other creators like Sliggy and whatnot, people mainly thought that while it was very impressive that Team Heretics and Karmine Corp made it through to the playoff stage, it was probably going to end with the usual suspects of EMEA in Fnatic and Navi qualifying for the first international tournament of the year. However, that did not happen, as we can see on the screen here. So before I talk about all these matches, what I do want to say is I think if this playoff stage was maybe double elimination, I don't think we would see Fnatic not qualifying. These upsets happening is very surprising just because of the caliber of Navi and Fnatic especially, but it's also a tournament format that lends itself to these upsets. I really don't think that Riot should ever do this kickoff tournament again, because it just led to way too many upsets, which you can see as a good thing, but as Riot, as the people running this league, do you really want all your best teams to be very much at risk of being kicked out early? When this playoff stage was set, there was talk about how Fnatic only played 2 maps to get in, while Heretics, I think they had to play 4, and then Karmine Corp had to play like 10 plus or something. But honestly, I feel like that gave KC more of an advantage because they were way more warmed up than Fnatic was. Fnatic has just been sitting pretty for the last week, and I don't think it helped them at all. They looked nervous, they didn't look composed, and it ended up backfiring for them. But before diving into the Fnatic versus KC match, I do want to first talk about the Team Heretics versus Navi game. So this game being an upset honestly wasn't too surprising. Team Heretics have been playing very well. They do have the nepotism buff with Boo and Mini Boo, both players playing extremely well throughout this tournament. But Navi is a team that I do feel like is kind of trending in the other direction. They have been together for a long time. This is the reuniting of artists on this roster. And while they did perform overall well throughout this tournament, I just don't know if I see them as a tournament contender anymore. That roster was successful in 2022, but they haven't made any changes on it since then. And all throughout 2023, I don't think the problem was CNED. I think, maybe there was some chemistry issues with them, but overall he had a decent year on that team. It was just this team didn't feel like they had the same oomph as they did in 2022, and throughout this tournament, yeah, they did play well, but it kind of felt like we're seeing a repeat where they're performing good, they're performing well, but not really bringing a lot of new stuff to the table. Artist on Yoru definitely is something new for him because, he doesn't like that agent. He doesn't want to play it, apparently. But overall, them being upset by Team Heretics, it reminds me of them being upset by Foot last year. What is surprising to me, though, is the way that they happened. First off, Navi didn't win a map, as we see. For the first map on Sunset, they did take it to overtime and then lost 16-14. So, really close first map. Unfortunate. That's definitely a heartbreaker there. But, you can bounce back from that. You fought hard in that first map. You had about 2 good win streaks here, and then you just couldn't answer what Team Heretics had on their defense side. But still, you can come back from this. Unfortunately, on Breeze, they won 4 rounds total. Say what you will about the Fnatic loss, they did not lose this bad. This is really bad performance from Navi right here. Heretics just had their number on their attack side, and then they just needed to win 3 rounds for defense, and they ended up doing it. Very easy, good, tidy work from Team Heretics there. Looking at the player stats, we can see that Mini Boo, yet again, looks extremely good on this stage. Boo not getting a ton of kills, but definitely doing his job as the IGL and as the smokes player. Whereas we can see Artis, going -3, decent performance overall. On Breeze, he only had 10 kills on that Yoru, which, that definitely sucks after he was looking good on that agent before. Angel not doing much here, Zippin not doing much here. This is just an overall really rough performance by Navi, especially when you're coming up against a team that has looked really good this entire tournament. They're definitely warm coming into this playoff stage. Navi maybe a little bit colder. Team Heretics with a lot more to prove. They are the underdog in this match, and it ended up working in spades with them. As I have said and will always say, being an underdog absolutely can be a huge advantage. When you're the underdog, the team that is expected to beat you, they will have all the pressure. Everybody expects them to win, and that pressure can definitely get to players and make them very nervous. Whereas if you're playing as the team that nobody expects to win, you don't have that pressure. If you lose, that's what people expected, and you don't really lose anything in terms of public perception, at least not a lot. But if you win, it's a huge surprise to everybody, and everybody now is like, oh my god, they're actually really good. So in Team Heretics' case and Karmine Corp's case, that's what they did. They came in with, something to prove for themselves, but overall they just didn't have the pressure. And that is exactly how I felt like when I was watching this go down. So as I said, Navi losing wasn't super surprising to me. Fnatic losing? I mean, listen, they've been chokers in the past. I thought they were over it after 2023. Again, if this was like a double elimination playoff bracket, I think Fnatic would have made it. Unfortunately, we have this format, which I do think is bad. And for this match, Karmine Corp just looked way more ready for this match. They were doing a lot of new stuff. They were throwing out very cool ideas out there. They were hitting all of their shots. They were just doing what you need to do to innovate and win. Whereas Fnatic, it looked like they just came in expecting to win. I could see in their team, at the start of that match, they were all smiling. They're all having fun. They're all like, it's fine. We're on Lotus. Lotus is our best map. It's okay. We'll be fine. And then they start losing. And you could see the shift. You could see how these players started to be like, oh, wait, we could actually lose this. And then that is exactly what happened. 10-13 in favor of Karmine Corp on Lotus against Fnatic, when Fnatic is known as the best team in the world on this map. That for Fnatic, it's just awful. You cannot have that happen. You have to be more ready for this match going into it. Yes, you're known as the best team in the world. Yes, your goal is to win all 3 international tournaments. As the caster said, you have to make it there. And they just didn't look like they were ready to really fight for their lives. They just came in, I think, just expecting to win. I do think that they were trying as hard as they could in that moment, but it's a thing about competitive mindset. You can feel ready, you can feel like you're all bought in and whatever, but if you're expecting your victories to come to you easily, you are sorely mistaken. All the best winners, all the people in any sport have gone through tremendous adversity. Fnatic as well. So you cannot underestimate underdog opponents, especially when it's a do or die match. Split was even worse for Fnatic, losing 13-8. This was just a really unfortunate game for Fnatic here. What's crazy about the lowest one is that Fnatic only won 4 rounds on attack, even though they're probably better on attack than they are on defense on Lotus. And then Split was a very similar story, but they only won 5 of their defense half. That's bad. That's not good. That's not great. They only won 3 on the second half, and man, KC, they looked so good this match. It was honestly crazy. Looking at these player stats, Chronicle is the only one who went positive, and only by 1. Leo -4, Alpha -3, Durka -8. Durka -8, that should never happen. Boaster -3, I mean Boaster doesn't get a lot of kills, but he's trying to turn that around this year for him, but early returns it's not working out. Whereas you look at this is some crazy stuff from KC. +10 for Thomasy. Martin +14. He played insane today. Narrate +2. Represent NA, baby. Shin +5. Magnum -14. That's actually pretty surprising. But I do think he played overall pretty well. Plus he's the IGL, so whatever. You don't really need him to be the one fragging out. Overall for this match, on the Karmine Corp side, they knew what was at stake. They knew they had to play very, very well, like the best that they've ever played before. Whereas Fnatic, I'm not trying to flame their players or anything, but it just didn't seem like they were ready for this match. They weren't ready for the kind of just power that Karmine Corp was going to be throwing at them. And that's something that I really hope they take this as a learning lesson and never let happen again. They cannot underestimate any opponent. Valorant, any upset can happen at any time. It's such a weird esport in that way. But Fnatic, there's no reason why they should have lost this one. Absolutely not. So 2023, that was a pretty easy year for them because they were just clearly one of the better teams. Now that this is the second year of the franchise league, there are players that are more developed. There are teams that are more developed. There are comps that are more developed. So I really hope that they, are able to bounce back from this. I'm not a huge Fnatic fan, so I don't really care overall. But I like seeing these best teams go to these international events because it makes it very interesting. But also Karmine Corp and Team Heretics as the EMEA representatives, dude, Madrid is wide open. I have no idea who's going to win that. But for the grand finals of the EMEA Kickoff, the match of 2 underdogs, Team Heretics versus Karmine Corp. Karmine Corp did take this one 3-1, they will get those +3 championship points. And that's important too. Not a lot of people are talking about that, but those 3 extra points, that's definitely going to come in handy later in the season. When they're going off of those championship points to see who makes it into the international tournaments, those +3 will definitely make sure that Karmine Corp is in a great position going into that regular season. Plus, you get a little trophy. And Team Heretics, great performance from them overall. We'll see if they're able to beat Karmine Corp the next time they play them. I'm not going to look at the stats too much here, but Shin going +19, Nare going +24, Martin +21, absolutely insane play from all 3 of these players. And then Magnum and Tomazi not doing as good, but still playing very well. On the Heretics side, it's all negatives, unfortunately, but hey, you lost against Karmine Corp, you bounce back when you go to Madrid, and if you ever play this team again, you have this in the back of your mind, ready to go to help you motivate. So overall, for the EMEA kickoff, it was a crazy turn of events for that playoff stage. That is definitely evident of the format being wacky, being weird, not being forgiving at all. And unfortunately for teams like Fnatic and Navi, they're not going to make it to Madrid. They won't be at the first international tournament of the year, and that sucks for them, but it also means that Madrid is going to be a very interesting tournament. Let me know what you guys thought of the EMEA kickoff in the comment section down below. Out of Team Heretics and KC, who do you think has the best chance to take Madrid? Please click like if you enjoyed this video. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.